Hi, I'm Zoe and this is my FMP presentation. Our assignment was to create a project around the word life. This project had to build upon our existing skills and be a final product. And that's the poster that is right there. What was my product about? For my FMP, I created a marine life advert to advocate against plastic being dumped into the ocean. Let's go to here.
Did you know that 1.7 tonnes of plastic is dumped by Britain into the sea every year? First, the plastic breaks down into microplastic. This plastic clogs up the fish's stomach, causing starvation. You can also end up with bodies from marine predators who eat the fish, affecting the whole ecosystem. What can you do to make a difference? Stop buying plastic products and start using alternatives. Plastic bottles for metal bottles, and the same for plastic straws. Street food can use wood instead of plastic cutlery, and shoppers can reuse bags out of recycled plastic. Together we can make a difference in cleaning up British seas. Thank you for watching.
You can go back to the presentation. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. How did I make it? This project started by generating different ideas and interpretations into the word life. I narrowed myself to 3 ideas and considered what I would need to make them before deciding what I was going to create. I decided to focus on making an advert. To research more thoroughly into what I could do for my project, I visited Scarborough Sea Life Centre to understand what marine life there is around Britain and asked staff how plastic is having an impact. Once I'd researched a firmer idea of what I was doing, I also began to work on my designs. Just a few of my designs. Each design then received peer feedback, so I know exactly which ones I was going to create before moving on to create my storyboard, which helped guide my animations. So there's my storyboard, or some of it. Let's see. Each asset was modelled, and I practiced on different ways I could animate using curves, simulations and keyframes. This is practice I would later use to inform the development of the rest of my project. So there's a few examples there. They're supposed to be GIFs, but they weren't playing. Once each scene was rendered and laid out on my storyboard, I imported them into Premiere Pro with my voiceover, so I could create one product altogether. Redoing it. And a few of the issues I ran into when making my project, I missed a few of the issues I ran into on my project. Mostly it was wave painting, animating the seal, but I also had problems keyframing my bag because originally I was using simulation for it, and particles clipping through the floor, which you could see in the video. So you can see weight painting issues here, like simulation, things clipping. I also missed a whole scene from my storyboard. I kind of underestimated how long I'd have to do each thing, especially the seal because it needed weight painting, and I'd have to weight paint the whole seal. How did I tackle these issues? Yeah. For the seal, I limited my work by only moving the jaw and head instead of the full body. This helped reduce the amount of weight painting I had to do. For particles, I decided I didn't want to re-render my scenes, so I left the issue in the final product. A way I could have solved the problem, however, would be to have the collision happen before it hits the floor, so make like an invisible plane, put a collision on that, problem solved. For the mist scene, I turned it into a poster, which you can see there, and you saw it earlier. This was supposed to be a GIF on shape keys. Don't see the GIF working there. That one works. Any question?
That's well done.
I don't know why that one works and the others don't. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Okay, questions, folks?
Any questions? Yes. How did I do the water? It is just a ocean modifier, which Blender just comes with. Yes.
How long did it take to make the seal?
The suit.
The seal?
The seal.
Yeah.
I think it took me like a few days, but the thing is, like originally I had a seal. I wasn't happy with the way like the topology was going. I remade the seal, then I remade it again. So it was a lot of remaking it over and over to try and get like the kind of seal that I wanted. And then of course it needed to be like raked and weight painted, and there was a lot of burns to it. And I didn't really realise how much weight painting that would take. Yes?
Any new things you've learned because you chose to tackle this project idea?
Tons. I didn't really touch weight painting before as much. The whole concept of doing animation in Blender, especially a project this long, and I didn't use Premiere Pro before this really. I think there was also animating stuff on curves, which I did with the camera, shape keys, which I learned, which is how I did the bag, things like that, playing around with HDRIs. I learned a ton. Yeah.
Did you do any research into cinematography for it?
No. I didn't. I focused more on like marine animals that I could make into the video, and I did a few things I could actually do in Blender. There was a weight painting video that I watched, and there was like keyframes, and I didn't actually watch a video on shape keys, I just figured that one out. But yeah.
How did you make the highly detailed texture for the fish?
The fish, I didn't actually make that, that's an image, and I just projected it onto the mesh, and then just added a wave modifier on it.
Anything interesting about the topic you tackled itself that you have learned during the project?
Well, I went to Scarborough and they were talking about like kind of the issues of plastics and like how the seals struggle and stuff with it. They get entangled with it, whereas the fish actually starve on the plastic, which I would have thought, you know, the seal would have, you know, starved as well, but no, apparently they're like, no, that's plastic, whereas the fish are like, no, that's food. So it's just different animals behave differently in reaction to the plastic in the ocean. It's not just the same across the board. Yeah. Any more?
Very good. Very well done, Zoe. Very well done. You should be
Thank
proud of yourself for that.
You don't get me out.